Before my near-death experience, from a young age, I always felt like I didn't belong here, like this world wasn't truly my home. Growing up was tough. I had an abusive father who was unpredictable and violent. He not only hurt me, but also my mother and sister. When my parents divorced when I was 12, it was a mix of emotions for me. Part of me felt relieved, but another part felt sad about all the big changes. My older sister left for college in another state, and my mother, though kind and supportive, was deeply depressed. During this time, I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Some of my friends were good and trustworthy, while others betrayed my trust. My struggles and the journey to healing. At 15, I ran away from home, and life on the streets quickly turned into a nightmare. One of the most terrifying experiences was being kidnapped by a dangerous drug dealer. The trauma I experienced growing up with my father led to PTSD, and those scars stayed with me. Today, I prefer to keep a small circle of trustworthy friends rather than trying to please everyone like I used to. By 1989, I felt like I had survived my own personal war, facing heartless people who took advantage of me. I was overwhelmed with constant migraines and headaches that lasted for months. I just couldn't handle it anymore. Emotionally, I was shattered. My mom seemed to be falling apart, and without any other family for support, I found myself surrounded by corrupt and immoral people. A moment of darkness. I lay down on my waterbed, waiting for the pills I had taken with vodka to start working. At first, there were no specific thoughts, just an overwhelming feeling. I kept telling myself, it's time for me to go. I was ready to let everything go. Then suddenly, I felt a strange, powerful thump in my chest, and everything started to fade into darkness. The afterlife experience. A few seconds later, I found myself looking down at my best friend. She was crying, panicked, and calling for my mother. My mom rushed into the room, but at first I didn't understand what was going on. They seemed so upset about someone in my bed, and I couldn't figure out who it was. Then, I looked closer and saw a familiar face. It was me. I was shocked for a moment, realizing, oh, that's my body. Poor thing. Goodbye, old friend, I thought to myself. A glimpse of freedom. I felt a bit guilty that I was only slightly worried about my mom being sad if I died, but I believed she would be okay after about a year. Then something incredible happened. I felt an overwhelming sense of freedom. It was like pure joy and liberation washing over me. No longer confined by my body, I felt completely myself, confident and even brave. As I started floating upwards, not too fast, I noticed everything around me in a new way. Colors were richer, textures were more vivid, and I could even sense feelings in everything. It might sound strange, but even the molecules in the wood of the ceiling I passed through had a kind of energy. I saw the roof of my townhouse and the pool below. Then, I began to move faster, soaring past the clouds and into the stars. The moon appeared, but it had a unique glow, a purple hue that I'd never seen before. In fact, purple seemed to be everywhere until I entered a swirling blackness. Exploring the unknown. At the time, I didn't fully understand it, but I was seeing reflections of other spiritual energy, like me, scattered across the universe. As I moved further away from the stars, the surroundings grew darker, but I was so caught up in the excitement of my newfound freedom that I didn't really notice. It was like I was just wandering around, not even thinking about my safety, completely absorbed in this new experience. I was getting used to my new senses and the new reality, realizing that I could see everything so clearly, even though I didn't have eyes anymore. The darkness I had drifted into felt like a vast space filled with thick, churning blackness. There was a dull, low hum in the background, almost like a distant roar. The substance around me moved slowly, in a predictable direction. It didn't feel good or bad, just neutral. Feeling threatened. After a moment, I sensed other beings coming closer to me, and I immediately felt uneasy. I knew they were unfriendly and had bad intentions, I felt extremely vulnerable, unsure if I had any way to protect myself from these negative entities. As they approached, I could sense who they were, picking up on their feelings, thoughts, and personalities. They weren't human, but I couldn't quite figure out what they were. These creatures started reading my thoughts, which terrified me. I didn't want them intruding on my mind, but their thoughts and feelings began to seep into mine. I was confused and didn't know how to stop it. The creatures following their leader didn't have typical features like eyes, noses, or mouths. They looked like twisted forms of anguish and misery. The leader was enormous, with a mix of red and orange colors, standing about 18 to 20 feet tall. It wasn't male or female, just a monstrous being without any gender. Although it didn't have a physical body, its energy felt like that of a deeply intelligent, deranged serial killer. I could sense its cold, heartless nature. Before the near-death experience from a young age, I always felt like I didn't belong here, and that this world wasn't my true home. Growing up was really tough. My father was abusive and his violence was unpredictable. He also hurt my mother and sister. When my parents divorced when I was 12, I felt a mix of relief and sadness because of all the big changes. My older sister went away to college in another state, and my mother, though loving and supportive, was deeply depressed. I started hanging out with the wrong crowd. Some friends were good and trustworthy, but others betrayed me. When I was 15, I ran away from home. Life on the streets was frightening. I was even kidnapped by a dangerous drug dealer. The trauma from my father left me with PTSD. Now, I prefer to keep a small circle of friends I can trust, instead of trying to please everyone like I used to. In 1989, I felt overwhelmed. In 1989, I felt like I was fighting a personal battle against many heartless people. I had constant migraines and headaches for months, and I couldn't handle it any longer. Emotionally, I was shattered, and it seemed like my mom was falling apart too. Without any other family to support me, I was surrounded by corrupt and immoral people. I lay back on my waterbed, waiting for the pills and vodka I took to kick in. At first, I wasn't thinking much, just feeling an overwhelming sense of, it's time to go. I was ready to let everything go. Suddenly, I felt a strange thump in my chest, and everything started going dark. A few seconds later, I found myself looking down at my best friend. She was crying frantically and calling for my mother, who rushed into the room. Realizing and floating away. At first, I didn't quite get what was going on. It seemed strange that everyone was panicking over someone in my bed and I couldn't figure out who it was. Then I looked down and saw a familiar face. It was my own. I was shocked and thought, oh, that's my body. Goodbye, old friend. I felt a bit guilty about only being a little worried about how my mom would handle my death, but I thought she'd be okay after a year or so. Suddenly, I experienced an amazing sense of freedom. It was like a wave of pure joy and release. Without my body holding me back, I could just be myself completely. I felt confident and even brave. As I floated upwards, not too quickly, everything around me seemed more vibrant. Colors were brighter, textures were richer, and even the feelings were more intense. It might sound odd, but even the molecules in the ceiling I floated through had a kind of energy. I saw the roof of my townhouse and the pool below. Then I picked up speed, soaring past the clouds and into the stars. A new perspective. I saw the moon, but it looked different than usual. It was the same moon I'd always loved, but now it had a beautiful purple glow. In fact, I noticed purple everywhere until I moved into a swirling darkness. Later, I realized that I was seeing reflections of other spiritual energies like mine spread across the universe. I drifted into a darker area, farther from the stars, but I was so caught up in the thrill of my new freedom that I didn't pay much attention to where I was going. It felt like I had wandered in without thinking about my safety. Everything was new and exhilarating. Adjusting to a new reality. I was getting used to my new senses and this new reality, amazed that I could see so much even though I didn't have eyes. The darkness I had drifted into was like a huge, thick sea of blackness that seemed to swirl around itself. There was a low, steady hum in the background, almost like a distant roar. The darkness moved slowly and in a predictable way. It didn't feel good or bad, just neutral. Feeling threatened. Soon, I sensed other beings coming closer, and I could tell they were unfriendly and had bad intentions. I felt incredibly vulnerable, unsure if I had any way to protect myself from these negative entities. As they approached, I could feel their thoughts and emotions. They weren't human, but I couldn't figure out what they were. These creatures began reading my thoughts, which scared me. Their thoughts and feelings started mixing with mine, and I couldn't stop it. The creatures following their leader didn't have typical features like eyes or mouths. They looked like twisted forms of pure misery. The leader was enormous, around 18 to 20 feet tall with a mix of red and orange colors. It wasn't male or female, just a monstrous being without any gender. Even though it didn't have a physical body, its energy felt like that of a very intelligent but evil entity, like a deranged serial killer. I could sense its cold-heartedness and malice. Confronting the leader. As the beings got closer, the leader spoke with a voice full of rage, and it really hated me. I asked it directly, "Why are you so angry with me? Who are you? I don't understand, and why do you hate me so much?" The leader snapped back, "Don't you even know who you are?" I asked, "No, who am I?" The leader seemed to lose it, shouting, "You don't even realize you're a child of God the Father? It's not fair. You should be just as doomed as we are." A moment of terror and rescue. I suddenly felt a deep fear and called out, "Jesus, save me, I'm scared. Where are you? Please help me." I instantly felt that rescue was coming. Then a bright light of Jesus moved swiftly toward me, and the demon started to retreat. I was pulled out of the swirling darkness and into a tunnel of beautiful, powerful light. I felt completely safe and surrounded by love and goodness. Jesus embraced me, but he wasn't in a physical body. He was a being of pure, bright, white golden light. The light was so gentle on my eyes and represented everything good and trustworthy. When Jesus embraced my soul, it felt like all my pain was washed away. His presence was incredibly vast, like 500 feet wide and 1,000 feet tall. I knew it was him instantly, and he reassured me and brought me peace. A life review and a new understanding. Jesus told me that since I was already with him, he wanted to show me my life to help me understand many things, so I would be more patient when I returned to my body. I didn't want to go back, but he was very patient and gentle. He knew I was upset and worked to calm me down, and I decided to trust and listen to him. I felt incredibly happy and at peace, more than I ever had before. I was ready to hear whatever he wanted to share. Where we were felt like a special part of heaven, but I didn't see any familiar faces or relatives. It was like a private section just for me. During my life review, I relived everything I had ever said or done. I saw how my actions, whether intentional or not, affected others like ripples in water. Jesus showed me my true essence and explained that each soul has a unique role based on their origins and actions, regardless of circumstances. The most important thing is how we respond to love and goodness. In my quest for understanding my place in the grand scheme of things, I found solace in the reassuring words of Jesus. He reminded me that deep within me, there exists an abundance of goodness. Despite my imperfections and weaknesses, I possess the inherent capacity to attain heavenly realms solely because of who I am as an individual. Intrigued by this revelation, I couldn't help but inquire, who am I exactly, and why does it hold such significance? With unwavering patience, Jesus proceeded to shed light on the concept of varying levels of goodness. He elucidated that some individuals possess the potential to cultivate goodness within themselves, thereby paving their own path to heaven through diligent effort and self-improvement. These individuals, through their unwavering commitment to goodness, gradually ascend towards celestial realms. On the other hand, there are those who are born with an innate abundance of goodness. Their very essence radiates with benevolence, making their journey towards heaven a more effortless one. Their inherent goodness acts as a guiding light, leading them closer to the divine. But then, Jesus spoke of a select few who share a unique connection with God's original energy. These individuals are deeply intertwined with the divine essence, and as such, God Himself gently beckons them back into His loving embrace. Their souls, resonating with the pure energy of the divine, are destined to return to their source. As I absorbed these profound insights, a sense of clarity enveloped my being. I began to comprehend that my journey towards heaven was not solely determined by my actions or the level of goodness I possessed. Instead, it was a harmonious interplay of my inherent nature, my efforts towards self-improvement, and the divine forces that guide me. In this newfound understanding, I realized that my place in the universe is intricately woven into the tapestry of divine creation. I am a unique being, capable of both growth and transformation. I am blessed with the potential to cultivate goodness within myself, to align my actions with the divine will, and to forge a connection with the eternal source of love and light. With this profound insight, I embarked on a journey of self-discovery, striving to embrace the goodness within me and align my path with the divine purpose. I understood that my place in the grand design of the universe was not merely a matter of chance, but rather a testament to the infinite love and grace that God bestows upon each of us. So as I continue to navigate the twists and turns of life's journey, I am comforted by the knowledge that I am not alone. The divine presence guides me, and within the depths of my being, I carry an inherent goodness that propels me closer to my ultimate destination, a heavenly realm where love, peace, and eternal bliss reside. During our conversation, I expressed to Jesus my frustration and confusion regarding God and the presence of suffering on earth. I couldn't help but feel a lingering anger within me. However, Jesus responded with an analogy that struck a chord within me. He compared my anger to being mad at my own arm or leg, emphasizing that it was unreasonable to be upset with something that is a part of me. Jesus proceeded to shed light on a profound truth that resonated deeply with me. He explained that each of us has unique spiritual tasks and purposes to fulfill during our time on earth. These tasks are essential for our growth and development as souls. In that moment, I realized that my anger and frustration were hindering my progress and preventing me from embracing my spiritual journey wholeheartedly. With a heavy heart, I confessed to Jesus that I was tired and weary. I expressed my reluctance to continue with my assigned task, as the weight of it all seemed unbearable. It was in that moment that I noticed a subtle change in Jesus' expression. His face seemed to reflect a mixture of amusement and concern, as if he understood the depth of my weariness and the challenges I faced. In response, Jesus gently reminded me that my weariness was only temporary. He assured me that he was aware of the struggles I faced, and that he was there to guide and support me through it all. His words filled me with a renewed sense of hope and determination. It was as if a flicker of light had ignited within me, dispelling the darkness of my doubts and fears. Through our conversation, I gained a new understanding of my role as a witness of God's love and light in this world. Jesus revealed that the suffering and evil I encountered were not a reflection of my own character, but rather a result of the world's brokenness and the exploitation of people's weaknesses by evil forces. It became clear to me that my purpose was to shine a beacon of hope and spread love amidst the darkness, even when it seemed overwhelming. As our conversation drew to a close, I felt a profound sense of gratitude for the wisdom and guidance Jesus had bestowed upon me. His words had provided me with a fresh perspective and a renewed sense of purpose. With a newfound determination, I embraced my spiritual task, knowing that I was not alone in my journey. Jesus' presence would always be there, guiding me through the challenges and supporting me along the way. After my near-death experience, my perspective on life and the universe was forever altered. Jesus, in all his divine wisdom, granted me a glimpse into the intricate workings of God's universe. However, He made it clear that I was not to bring this profound knowledge back with me to the physical realm. He explained that this was necessary for my spiritual growth, as having such profound understanding would only serve as a hindrance. As I reflect on that particular moment, I am reminded of the sheer complexity and incomprehensibility of the universe. It was as if a veil had been lifted, allowing me to witness the grandeur and majesty that lay beyond our limited human perception. Yet, despite the awe-inspiring nature of this revelation, I couldn't help but feel a sense of humility and realization that no one could fully grasp the vastness of God's creation. Although I longed to stay in the presence of Jesus and bask in the unconditional love and peace that surrounded him, I came to understand that my journey was not yet complete. Reluctantly, I accepted his decision to send me back to my physical body, knowing that I had a mission to fulfill in this lifetime, both for myself and for the greater purpose of serving God. Returning to the physical realm after such a profound encounter was not without its challenges. I had been touched by the divine, and the memory of that encounter lingered within me, like a gentle whisper in the depths of my soul. It became a driving force, a constant reminder of the higher calling that awaited me. My near-death experience had ignited a profound transformation within me. It awakened a deep sense of purpose and a renewed appreciation for the preciousness of life. I was no longer content with simply existing. I was driven to live a life of meaning and significance, to make a positive impact on the world around me. In the years that followed, I dedicated myself to understanding and exploring the spiritual realms, seeking to deepen my connection with God and the universe. I delved into ancient wisdom teachings, studied various philosophies, and engaged in practices that nurtured my spiritual growth. While I may never fully comprehend the intricacies of the universe, I have come to realize that the true essence of life lies not in unraveling its mysteries, but in embracing the journey itself. Each step I take, each experience I encounter, is an opportunity for growth, for learning, and for aligning myself with the divine purpose that guided me back from the brink of death. Though my heart may still yearn for the transcendent presence of Jesus and the boundless knowledge that was revealed to me during my near-death experience, I have found solace in the understanding that I am exactly where I need to be. I am an instrument of God's will, entrusted with a unique mission that only I can fulfill. So as I continue on this earthly journey, I do so with gratitude and reverence for the extraordinary encounter I had with Jesus. It serves as a constant reminder of the infinite possibilities that lie beyond our mortal limitations and the profound beauty that exists within the realm of the divine. In the year 2004, I found myself standing at a crossroads, facing a situation eerily similar to the one I had encountered back in 1989. It was as if time had looped back on itself, and I once again felt overwhelmed, drowning in a sea of despair and helplessness. The weight of the world seemed to bear down on my shoulders, and I was plagued by physical pain that seemed to have no end. To add to the agony, a profound sense of loneliness engulfed me. It was as if I existed on an isolated island, cut off from the warmth and companionship of others. The people around me, instead of offering solace and understanding, seemed to be using me for their own purposes, leaving me feeling even more isolated and vulnerable. In the midst of this despair, I found myself contemplating a drastic measure once again. The thought of ending my life seemed like the only escape from the overwhelming darkness that consumed me. I hoped that by ingesting a concoction of pills, I would slip into a permanent slumber, never to wake up again. As I swallowed the toxic cocktail, my body reacted violently. The poison coursed through my veins, exacerbating the already unbearable stress I was experiencing. It was as if my body was staging a revolt against the agony I was subjecting it to. The left side of my body went numb. A heaviness settled upon it, reminiscent of the aftermath of a stroke. Although I couldn't be certain if it was indeed a stroke or a manifestation of the overwhelming stress, the sensation served as a haunting reminder of the depths of my suffering. In reflecting upon these moments of darkness, I've come to realize the immense strength and resilience that lies within the human spirit. Despite the overwhelming despair that consumed me, I managed to find a flicker of hope, a tiny beacon of light amidst the darkness. It was during these moments of despair and pain that I began to understand the importance of seeking help and support. No one should have to face their battles alone, and it is crucial to surround oneself with individuals who offer genuine support and understanding. The realization that I deserved compassion and care, rather than being used as a mere pawn, became a pivotal turning point in my journey towards healing and self-acceptance. Life has a way of testing our resolve, pushing us to our limits, but it is in these moments that we discover our true strength. I have learned that even in the depths of despair, there is always a glimmer of hope, a chance for redemption and renewal. It may take time, patience, and the support of others, but healing is possible. Now, as I look back on those dark chapters of my life, I am grateful for the lessons they have taught me. They have shaped me into a stronger, more compassionate individual, driven to help others who may find themselves in similar situations. By sharing my story, I hope to inspire resilience, promote empathy, and encourage those who are struggling to reach out for help. Remember, dear reader, you are never alone in your battles. There is always someone willing to lend a listening ear, offer a helping hand, and walk alongside you on your journey towards healing. Embrace the strength within you, and know that there is always hope, even in the darkest of times. As I reflect on that extraordinary moment, I am filled with awe and wonder. It was as if the universe itself had conspired to send me a message of encouragement and strength. The deep, thunderous voice that resonated within and around me was unlike anything I had ever experienced before. Its commanding tone carried an undeniable sense of authority and reassurance. "I am with you," it said, its words penetrating the very core of my being. "You can do this. Don't give up." The weight of those words hit me like a tidal wave, overwhelming my senses and stirring emotions deep within my soul. Tears streamed down my face as I struggled to catch my breath, my heart pounding in my chest. In that moment, my consciousness seemed to transcend the boundaries of my physical body once again. It was as if my spirit soared free from its earthly confines, allowing me to witness a breathtaking sight. I found myself moving effortlessly through the ceiling, defying the limitations of space and time. Stars twinkled and danced around me as I journeyed through the vast expanse of the universe. But this time, as I approached the looming darkness that had once been my nemesis, I felt a newfound strength within me. I knew that I had the power to overcome it. With a resolute voice, I called out for Jesus, seeking his divine guidance and protection once more. The name carried a sense of familiarity and solace, like a beacon of light in the midst of the unknown. As I summoned his name, a profound sense of peace washed over me, enveloping me in its warm embrace. The darkness that had once threatened to consume me now seemed distant and insignificant. I felt a surge of energy coursing through my veins, empowering me to face whatever challenges lay ahead. In that moment, I realized that I was not alone. The voice that had spoken to me, the presence that had guided me, was a constant companion on my journey. It was a reminder that I had within me the strength and resilience to overcome any obstacle. With this newfound belief in myself and the unwavering support of a higher power, I knew that I could face whatever lay ahead with courage and determination. And so I pressed on, my heart filled with gratitude for the extraordinary experience that had unfolded before me. I carried with me the knowledge that I was never alone, that there was always a guiding presence watching over me. With each step I took, I embraced the challenges and uncertainties of life, confident in the knowledge that I had the power to overcome them. As the ethereal figure of Jesus stood before me once more, I was awestruck by the same radiant love that had captivated my heart before. However, this time, there was an undeniable presence that accompanied him, an overwhelming force that seemed to permeate every inch of the space around us. It was as if the very essence of Jesus had multiplied exponentially, revealing the presence of God himself. In that moment, God the Father spoke to me with unwavering firmness, reminding me that I could not escape the confines of my physical body once more. It was a stern directive, a reminder that I had a mission to fulfill here on earth. His words echoed in my mind, emphasizing that this journey was not solely for His glory, but also for my own spiritual growth and development. Tears welled up in my eyes as a mix of fear, sadness, and shame washed over me. I felt the weight of my loneliness and the absence of family in my life. With a trembling voice, I cried out to the divine presence before me. What can I do? I feel so utterly alone. In that sacred moment, a sense of compassion emanated from God Himself. His voice, filled with infinite wisdom and love, enveloped my being. He assured me that even in the depths of my solitude, I was never truly alone. He promised to be with me every step of the way, guiding and supporting me through the trials and tribulations that lay ahead. Moreover, God revealed that even in my darkest moments, He had a plan in place to ensure my safety and well-being. He gently explained that if I were ever to contemplate ending my own life again, He would intervene. Whether it be by sending someone to cross my path and deter me from such a dire decision, or by causing any attempt to falter and fail, He would not allow me to succumb to that darkness. Though the weight of my burdens remained, a glimmer of hope began to emerge within me. The realization that God Himself was watching over me, protecting me from the depths of despair, filled my heart with a newfound strength. I understood that my journey on this earthly plane was not one to be traversed alone, but rather, with the divine presence of God by my side. With a renewed sense of purpose, I vowed to embrace the mission set before me, knowing that it held significance not only for the glory of God but also for my own personal growth. For in the depths of my solitude, I had found solace in the knowledge that I was never truly alone, for God's love and guidance would forever be my constant companion. In a voice that resonated with power and yet carried a gentle touch, God's words caressed my soul, filling me with a profound sense of comfort and solace. You have never been alone, my dear child. Not even for a single moment, He assured me. I have always been by your side, patiently waiting for you to reach out to me, to ask for my presence. Through Jesus Christ, I have worked tirelessly to be a gift to you, a constant source of love and guidance. As I absorbed these divine words, an ethereal vision unfolded before my eyes, like a movie playing out the tapestry of my spiritual journey. It revealed the immense growth I had experienced, even when I had been oblivious to it. God, in His infinite wisdom, expressed His pride in me, acknowledging that I was nearing the completion of my earthly pilgrimage. With unwavering certainty, God promised that if I could persevere and fulfill my purpose here on earth, my eternal destiny would be adorned with an abundance of love and peace beyond measure. It was a promise that resonated deep within me, igniting a fervent determination to give my utmost and finish the work assigned to me. In that sacred moment, I found myself overcome with a mix of emotions: gratitude, humility, and a renewed sense of purpose. I offered my sincerest apologies for any shortcomings I may have had, vowing to give my best effort in every endeavor. I reminded myself that the challenges and struggles I faced in the present moment would fade away, insignificant in the light of the heavenly bliss that awaited me. With God's loving reassurance and the clarity of His divine message, I felt a newfound strength surging through my being. I knew that, with His guidance, I could overcome any obstacle, triumph over any adversity, and fulfill my purpose with unwavering resolve. As I continued on my journey, I carried the precious words of God within my heart, knowing that His love would be my guiding light. I embraced the knowledge that, as His child, I was cherished beyond measure, and that His unwavering presence would forever be my solace and strength. I have been blessed with the assurance from both God and Jesus that my ultimate destiny lies in heaven. Their divine words have resonated deeply within me, instilling a profound sense of purpose and direction in my spiritual journey. According to their guidance, once I have fulfilled my earthly duties and completed the work assigned to me, I will seamlessly harmonize with God's magnificent plan. The knowledge that my ultimate destination is heaven fills me with a sense of awe and wonder. It serves as a constant reminder that my existence on this earthly realm is merely a stepping stone towards a higher purpose. Both God and Jesus have lovingly assured me that my soul's journey is significant and that I am an integral part of the grand tapestry of creation. In their infinite wisdom, God and Jesus have painted a vivid picture of the future that awaits me. They have assured me that when the time is right, I will leave behind the limitations of this mortal world and embark on an eternal voyage towards heavenly realms. It is a destination where my spirit will find solace, joy, and everlasting peace. The assurance bestowed upon me by God and Jesus is not just a promise, but a divine covenant. It is a testament to their unwavering love and unyielding commitment to guide me towards my ultimate destiny. With every step I take on my spiritual path, I'm reminded that I am not alone. Their presence is a constant source of strength and comfort, propelling me forward in my journey of self-discovery and enlightenment. As I continue to navigate through the challenges and triumphs of life, I find solace in the knowledge that my destiny is intricately woven into the fabric of God's grand plan. Each experience I encounter, every lesson I learn, and every person I meet is a part of the intricate design that will ultimately lead me to my heavenly abode. In moments of doubt or uncertainty, I draw strength from the divine assurance given to me by both God and Jesus. Their words echo in my heart, reminding me that my journey is purposeful and that I am guided by a higher power. It is through this unwavering faith and trust that I find the courage to face life's challenges head-on, knowing that I am destined for something greater. In conclusion, the divine assurance from both God and Jesus has ignited a flame within me, illuminating my path towards heaven. Their words have become the compass that guides me through life's twists and turns, ensuring that I stay true to my purpose and remain steadfast in my faith. With each passing day, I grow closer to the realization of my destiny, eagerly anticipating the day when I will finally embrace the heavenly realms and become one with God's grand plan.